SIG took so long to implement hacking gameplay that the community did it themselves. Facts. It's crazy to think that the Legionnaire is probably done and ready to go, but we don't have it because we still don't have hacking. Like they said, they're not going to release the ships until the gameplay is in and ready to go. Man, the smugness of this face never ceases to make me laugh. This whole cheater situation really was the wildest ride. So if you're unaware, cheaters have basically been doing some kind of script to knock everybody out on the server and then looting the stuff off of their bodies. There's actually one clip by Burks. Let's check it out. Yeah, here's a clip of Burks getting hacked upon.
I'm not gonna press charges on him.
You can never tell if it's desync or just like a hack. So right now he has gear on. Pretty sure Burks does. But now he doesn't.
What the fuck? No, chat, someone stole my gear. Fuck.
Just yoinked, bro. So apparently this was fixed by tightening up the easy anti-cheat parameters. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. I saw it somewhere. Yeah, so it looks like this was fixed by tightening the easy anti-cheat parameters, but I know it might come at the cost of playability for some Linux users. We'll see how it goes. I'll be honest, I've always known cheaters were pretty rampant on this game just from the amount of credit sellers on eBay. But the thing is, those people have gone under the radar for years because them cheating to get credits doesn't really affect the average player. You know, they could just make a bunch of Quantanium appear randomly and boom, millions of credits. But now, it seems to have shifted to directly affecting other players. And that's why it's a big problem now. Yeah, the difference is they don't need to kill or disturb anyone to make a bunch of money like you do in Tarkov. Where the only way to get stuff is you gotta go into the game where people can kill you or you gotta kill people to get the loot. But here's the other interesting about it. Here's the other interesting part about it. The hacktivists. Tier 0 hacktivists. People in sperm suits. This is a classic old school internet meme, but I love it. Good old reliable sperm suit. Zero risk, all reward. Yeah, apparently hackers were doing this to protest the Tier 0 item recovery implementation. Which is low-key pretty funny. Yeah, they're doing it to protest the Tier 0 item recovery. Which is, you know, the thing that made it so we can't loot gear off each other. So they made it so we can loot gear off each other. Or at least they can. You gotta love the irony in how after all of that, absolutely nothing has changed. And we're still sitting here in Tier 0 implementation. And we're still respawning in our Nurser rovers with fully loaded guns. Buy a ship with a bed so you can log off. Bed does not work. You know, I think it was ever since 3.24, they changed the player interface menu, like the player interaction. And now it's really hard to log off on a lot of beds. You have to like hold F and look for a very specific 2 centimeter space where you can click the button and actually log off. And it's like different for every single ship. So some of them, to this day, I still don't know how. The Cutlass, I know it's like, you look to the left, kind of just to the right of the ladder in a very specific spot, and then you might be able to click it. And it's they still haven't really cleaned it up. But bed locking as a whole has not been in a good place for quite a while. Man, nothing strikes fear into the heart of a longtime backer quite like the word bed logging. It's almost as scary as asking them to get up during quantum travel. And I do miss when we could just log out on any bed anytime. Even in your friend's ship, you could just lay down, log off, and you'll either wake up in their ship bed if they're still flying around, or you'll just wake up in the space station if they're not. I know that's the plan, is to bring that back, but the whole system is gonna change. I think it has something to do with free fly ships. Are you talking about bed logging still? That's not really anything to do with free fly. The whole system changed back in 3.18, I think. Yeah, 3.18 they changed the way bed locking like fundamentally works. So you can't like log off on anyone else's ship. No one else can log up on your ship. Your friend wanted to log off on a Cutlass Red and couldn't. It's a little weird. Like I said, it's very, very wonky. I think the Cutlass Red, I feel like I heard something about the Cutlass Red being bugged in the latest patch, but I could be wrong. But bottom line point is, bed logging needs a lot of work. Alright, next, meme. Let's full screen this bad boy. There is no pay to win. You are literally indestructible in a Polaris. You can earn one yourself. But Hathor is constantly being camped by an Idris. Then take a Polaris and destroy it. The pay-to-win conversation. I really hate the pay-to-win conversation, but this is a pretty good meme about it. This game is the definition of pay-to-win. Like, full stop. Like, it's almost down there with mobile games or a card game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something. Random fighter that punches above its weight. Industrial ship that expands and improves gameplay. CIG. In regards to this one, this kind of sums up my feelings on new ships as a whole. Like, in a nutshell. You know, I know Six got to do what they got to do to keep the lights on, and I get it. But a random variant of a chassis we already have with a couple guns on it is not going to excite me nearly as much as a new ship that brings new gameplay to the game. Yeah, a lot of this stuff has just felt like ship sales for the sake of ship sales this year for me, you know? Like, even the Fortune, that was just a refitted Prospector, but at least the Fortune was cool. It was a new form of salvage. Takeoff and 4.2 feels like. You know, every time I see this meme, I think of just the first time someone gets on Star Citizen. This is definitely how it went for me. Just slamming around the hangar a million times. But what this is talking about is the hover mode that we have in live, or in 4.2. Oh, mining though. I have heard it's really bad for mining. Like, if you're doing planetary mining, it messes with where your mining laser is going, and it messes up your stability, and that's clearly a problem. That's definitely a problem. This guy says hoverboard when. Honestly, I think this would be pretty cool. Imagine if you could use these running around the cities. Just like kind of traverse around ArcCorp a little faster. Like, once cities are fleshed out enough and we have like the underground sections and ArcCorp, I could see us flying around on these. It'd be pretty cool. Yeah, could you imagine a bunch of us zooming around hoverboards in Microtech? Hey, maybe you won't miss the train so much. This Hawk skin is definitely my favorite. You know, this makes me instantly think of the memes about people wanting custom skins in games, so we get the inevitable Ahegao skins all over our ships. Could you imagine the tantrums that would ensue on Spectrum? All the backers on there screaming about, my immersions! Not my immersion! I want to Google Ahegao real quick, but I'm so afraid. We're not going to do that. Somebody put something like this on their gray cat. Just pull up to your base and you're cycling on one of these. Bro, the D-gens. Bro, D-gens just have no chill, bro. Yeah, bro, imagine somebody flying around with this on their arrow. You know? You just get clapped by an Ahegao Gladius. Yeah, the Wikelo experience. Human is 4.21. Time for you to do contested zones 20 times, Hathor lasers 3 to 5 times, kill the worm 3 to 5 times, owe me 40 favors, and obtain 5 sets of alien armor for an FHC. Yes, honey. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is a play on a very popular Tarkov meme, where it's the same thing but with Jager, and all of his very sadistic tasks. He's the guy that gives you those tasks like dehydrate yourself for 45 minutes in the woods, headshot 5 PMCs while suffering from the pain effect with 17 tremors and onset diabetes. What did he say? I want to farm for the FAC too, but the Ace helmets are a pain to get. I hear they upped the amount of stuff that drops on the Ace pilots now. So you'll always get those pristine medals, and you'll always get those not always, but you're more likely to get the helmets and the pristine medals because you need them now for the new barters. This guy says, it ain't that hard to make good fast transitions. Please, Sig. Oh my god. Instantly in. Look at that. Dude, what game is this? Subnautica? Subtronica? Imagine you can get in and out of your ship that quick. How often have you guys died from just not being able to get out of your ship quick enough? You know? Especially if it's a small ship. The animation lock is brutal. The animation for getting in and out of the Talon is like 30 seconds long. Yeah, bro, like, we need fluidity. For our last meme. POV. It's 2035. Star Citizen Update 1.0 is at 99.9%. And you look out your window. Dark, but potentially true. It's like the GTA meme, like, we must survive to the release of GTA 6. Some internet commenters' last words would be, we got nuclear holocaust before GTA 6, and then he gets eviscerated.